In this lesson, we're going to see how to use the Hashset class to store a collection of data. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to call this program names.java because we're going to store a set of names in the Hashset. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to import the Hashset class. So we'll do that first. Then we'll start our program off. So the first thing we have to do is to declare our object. So we're going to write Hashset followed by our data type, which is going to be string. And we have to use the object or class version of the data type. But of course, for string, it doesn't really matter. Then a name for our Hashset, we're going to call it names, and then call the constructor. And now we have a new object. The next step then is to just add some names to the collection. So we'll put a few names in here. We'll just use first names. Now at this point, we might want to see how many names we have in our collection. Of course, we can tell because we just added 3. But if we're doing this programmatically, we can use the size method to show us the number of names. So let's call that method. And that's just size with open and close parentheses. And let's go ahead and compile and run the program at this point and see what we have. So we're going to save it. And we go back to our command prompt and then compile and then run. So the number of names is 3, so that's good. We might want to see what those names are. So to do that, we can use a for each loop. So we'll say for string name colon names, or as I like to say, for string name in names. And we'll print each name 1 to a line. So let's save that and then compile and run it. Clear the screen. Compile again and then run. And there's our names. If we need to remove a name, we can do that easy enough with remove. We can add another name, just like so. Then we can check to see if our name is actually removed. Well, one thing we could do is print the list out again. We'll get back to that. There's another method called contains, which we can use to see if a given piece of data is actually in the Hashset. So let's use name again. Let's make sure David is actually removed. And we'll say if names contains, and then we'll use the variable name here, and we'll write something out. And then we'll have an else and write out another little message. Let's compile that and run it. And David is not in the collection anymore because, as we see from our code, we removed it right there. So we can print out the names that are in there. Let's do that again. So we'll save and compile and run again. I'll leave it up this time. We'll leave this error in, again, so you can see how to fix it. Very simple mistake. We already declared name more globally. Again, remember that in a for each loop, that declaration is local to the loop. But here I created a more global declaration for name. So now I've either got to comment this out or create a new variable. Well, let's create a new variable in right here. Good enough for this example. Save the file. Try it again. And there are our new names, Cynthia, Brian, and Raymond. So finally, before we leave this lesson, the one other thing we can do is we can clear a collection out to start over again, clear a Hashset out using the clear method. Now we'll copy and paste our size call, our call to the size method, to verify that we indeed cleared out all the names. Let's take a look at that. Let's clear the screen, compile, and then run. So after this list of names, we call clear, and then we have the number of names is at 0. So those are the main methods that are part of the Hashset class, and I've demonstrated in a fairly fundamental manner how to use them. We'll come back to this in the exercises where we'll use Hashset to do something a little more interesting. But for now, we're ready to move on to the next lesson where we're going to talk about the tree set class.